On Christmas, my brother, the one who always expected me to babysit, sat with his wife and laughed. While my husband signed away what he thought was my life before heading towards to my story, please subscribe my channel now to our story. The first time I felt invisible in my own life was on Christmas morning, when everyone I loved was laughing, and none of it was meant for me. I was standing barefoot on the cold marble tiles of our lecky living room, the smell of fried plantains still hanging in the air, when my brother Cunnel walked in without greeting me. "Amara," he said, already loosening his shirt collar, "where are the children?" "At home," I replied. "I was waiting for you to confirm." "Why?" he cut in sharply. "You know Christmas lunch is at my place. Lola has guests. You'll bring the kids early so they don't disturb later." I stared at him. "I thought this year, maybe I could," he laughed. Not amused. Dismissive. "You? Do what?" "Rest." He shook his head. "You like suffering too much." Behind him, my husband Sola stood quietly, scrolling through his phone. He didn't look up. He didn't defend me. That silence was louder than Cunnel's words. I forced a smile. "I'll bring them." Cunnel nodded like a king satisfied with obedience and walked out. Sola finally looked up. "You know how your brother is," he said calmly. "Don't take it personally." That sentence, "don't take it personally," had become the anthem of my marriage. From the outside, my life was the kind people prayed for. A solid marriage. A big house. 2 beautiful children. A husband respected in business circles. A brother admired in social spaces. At church, women whispered, "She's lucky." At family gatherings, aunties smiled at me with envy. What they didn't see was how often I swallowed my voice. Before marriage, I had owned a fashion distribution company that supplied boutiques across Lagos and Accra. I was sharp, focused, feared in negotiations. After marriage, "Amara, focus on the home," Sola had said gently. "I'll handle the rest." And slowly, I disappeared into cooking, school runs, babysitting my brother's children, hosting family events, smiling politely while decisions were made over my head. Still, I told myself it was love. The changes didn't come suddenly. They came like whispers. Sola started locking his phone. When I asked, he laughed. "Privacy is not secrecy." He stopped discussing finances. "It's boring stuff," he said. "You won't understand." He began taking late calls, stepping outside to answer them. One night, I asked softly, "Is everything okay?" He kissed my forehead. "Always," he replied, but his eyes didn't stay on mine long enough. Cunnel's house was loud. Too loud. Music blared. Glasses clinked. Laughter flowed easily. Lola, his wife, barely acknowledged me. "Amara, can you help warm the jollof?" she said, already turning away. My children sat quietly in a corner while Cunnel's guests praised the decor. "Your wife really knows how to host," one woman told Cunnel. He smiled proudly. I watched Sola sit beside him, laughing easily, sipping wine. 2 men. 1 conversation. And I wasn't invited. I leaned close to Sola. "Can we leave early?" I whispered. He didn't even look at me. "Relax. Don't embarrass me." Embarrass him. That word stayed with me. Later that evening, I went upstairs to settle my daughter who was dozing off on the guest bed. As I stepped into the hallway, I heard voices below. Lola's voice, low, careful. "She still doesn't suspect anything?" Cunnel chuckled. "She never does." Another voice joined in. "Sola. Just make sure Christmas passes peacefully," he said. "After that, everything changes." My chest tightened. "What about the children?" Lola asked. "They'll stay with her," Sola replied. "That's part of the image." Image. I pressed my hand against the wall to steady myself. Cunnel laughed again. "Amara is predictable. She'll sign whatever you give her." I felt something inside me break. Not loudly, not dramatically, but completely. That night, back home, sleep refused to come. Sola was snoring softly beside me. I slipped out of bed and walked into the study. His old laptop sat on the desk, the one he said was broken. I opened it. It wasn't broken. An email was already open. Subject: Final asset consolidation and separation timeline. My name stared back at me from the screen. Properties. Accounts. Shares. Everything I thought was ours. My fingers trembled as I scrolled. Then I saw it. If she resists, execute Plan B after Christmas. Plan B. My vision blurred. Behind me, the door creaked. Amara. Sola's voice. I slammed the laptop shut and turned slowly. What are you doing up? He asked. I searched his face, the face I had trusted for years. Just checking something, I said calmly. He studied me for a long moment, then smiled. Come back to bed, he said. Tomorrow will be a long day. I walked past him, my heart pounding. As I lay beside him, staring at the ceiling, one truth became clear. They thought Christmas was the end of me. They had no idea it was the beginning. I didn't cry after discovering the truth. That surprised even me. I lay beside Sola that night, staring at the ceiling fan as it rotated lazily, and something inside me went completely still. Not numb, focused. Like a hunter who had finally spotted the trap meant for her. By morning, I had made a decision. I would not confront anyone. Not yet. The next morning, I woke before everyone. I cooked breakfast. I smiled. I asked Sola if he wanted more tea. He watched me closely, the way people watch someone they're trying to measure. You're quiet, he said casually. Just tired, I replied. Christmas stress. He nodded, relieved. Later that afternoon, he brought out the documents. Amara, he said gently, placing a file on the dining table, we should tidy up our finances before the new year. Just routine restructuring. I flipped through the pages slowly. There it was. A transfer of joint properties into a holding company, one where he was the sole director. A clause that looked harmless unless you understood law. A separation agreement disguised as future planning. You trust me, right? He asked, smiling. I picked up the pen. And signed. Not with my real signature, but with the softer, careless version I used on delivery notes and school forms. The pen paused in his hand. Thank you, he said. Inside, I smiled. That evening, I sat in my car outside a quiet cafe in Victoria Island, my hands trembling slightly as I dialed a number I hadn't called in years. Adiz, I said when she answered. It's Amara. There was a pause. Then excitement. Amara? Fashion queen Amara. I laughed softly. Former. We met inside. She didn't ask questions at first. She just listened. As I slid the documents across the table, her expression hardened. This is clean, she said slowly. Too clean. He's been planning this for a long time. And my brother? I asked quietly. She tapped one page. He signed as witness. And guarantor on something else. My stomach dropped. What's something else? She looked up at me. A loan. Big one. The betrayal deepened. The mistress didn't come sneaking. She came boldly. It was a Tuesday afternoon. The children were at school. I was folding laundry when the gate security called. Madam, a lady is here to see you. I opened the door and found her standing there, tall, well-dressed, confident. My name is Nkiru, she said politely. I believe we should talk. I stepped aside and let her in. She sat on my couch like she belonged there. I won't insult you, she said. Sola and I have been together for over a year. I studied her face. No malice, just certainty. He said you're aware, she continued, that you both agreed to move on peacefully. I laughed. Not loudly. Sadly. Did he also tell you he's broke? I asked gently. Her confidence cracked. What? I leaned forward. He's drowning in debt. The company you think he owns? Mortgaged. The lifestyle? Borrowed. Her lips trembled. He said after Christmas, After Christmas, he would be free, I finished for her. Silence. When she left, she looked smaller. I didn't feel victorious. I felt prepared. I didn't fight emotionally. I fought administratively. With Adi's guidance, I reactivated my old business, under my maiden name. I transferred funds legally, quietly. I reopened dormant accounts Sola didn't know about. I reviewed every document I had ever signed. At home, I played my role perfectly. I cooked. I smiled. I listened. Sola, meanwhile, began to unravel. His phone rang constantly. His mood shifted. One evening, he slammed his laptop shut. "My accounts are delayed," he muttered. I looked up calmly. "That happens sometimes. Have you touched anything?" he asked suddenly. I met his eyes. "No. Should I have?" He looked away. Kunnel hosted again. This time, his laughter was louder, forced. "Amara," he said loudly, "you look relaxed. Must be nice." "Yes," I replied. "It is." Lola avoided my eyes. Midway through the meal, Kunnel leaned towards Sola. "The bank called me," he whispered sharply. "What's going on?" Sola's face drained of color. That night, my phone buzzed. It was Adi's. "Amara," she said slowly, "your brother signed as guarantor for Sola's secret loan." I closed my eyes. The pieces aligned. Kunnel hadn't just betrayed me. He had chained himself to my husband's downfall. 2 days later, Sola came home early. He didn't speak. He dropped his phone, his keys, his pride. Then he knelt. "They've frozen everything," he whispered. "The accounts, the loans, the partners." I looked down at the man I once trusted with my entire life. "What do you want from me?" I asked quietly. His voice broke. "Help me." I tilted my head. "Help you, how?" Before he could answer, my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. "Madam Amara," a calm voice said. "This is the bank. We need to speak to you urgently about your husband and your brother." I smiled slowly, because at that moment I knew the trap they built for me had already closed around them. Karma didn't arrive screaming. It arrived with paperwork. The bank's conference room smelled like cold air and seriousness. Sola sat beside me, sweating through his shirt. Kunnel arrived late, still wearing confidence like armor, the kind people wear when they don't yet know they've already lost. The bank manager cleared his throat. "Mr. Sola Adeyemi," he said calmly, "your accounts have been reviewed. Multiple inconsistencies have been found." Kunnel laughed nervously. "This is a misunderstanding." The manager slid documents across the table. "Mr. Kunnel Adeyemi," he continued, "you are listed here as guarantor for 3 loans totaling." Kunnel's smile vanished. "No," he said sharply. "That's impossible." I watched quietly. The manager turned to me. "Madam Amara," he said respectfully, "you are not legally tied to these debts." Sola looked at me in shock. "You knew," he whispered. "I listened," I replied. Word spreads fast in Lagos. By the end of the week, Kunnel's partners had pulled out. His house, the one he loved showing off, was listed quietly. At a family meeting, my mother cried. Kunnel shouted. "You planned this," he accused me. I looked at him calmly. "No," I said. "I survived you." Lola sat silently, her face pale. Sola tried one final time. He brought flowers. He cried. "I was confused," he said. "We can fix this." I listened, not as his wife, but as a stranger. "I trusted you," I replied. "That was the mistake." I handed him the divorce papers. Clean. Fair. Final. He didn't fight them. He couldn't. The twist came from Kiru. She called me one evening. He lied to me too, she said. I have documents. Those documents exposed everything. Tax manipulation, false representations. I didn't need revenge. Truth did the work. 1 year later, I hosted Christmas. My house. My table. My rules. Kunal sat quietly. Smaller. Sola wasn't invited. My children laughed freely. I raised my glass. To peace, I said. That night, alone, I reflected. Betrayal teaches you something painful. Love without respect is just slow erasure. And karma doesn't rush. It waits until the people who tried to break you need you to save them. And then it lets you choose. The end.